Good morning and welcome to High Voltage. And this morning we are looking at the major headline that broke out and made top story in the country this morning. And it's about the new electronic charge that the federal government had decided to place on the Nigerian people, which is a 50 naira electronic charge on every 10,000 naira transaction for every citizen in the country. And this morning we are going to consider this particular headline and try to make sense of it. And with me to have this conversation this morning is Dr. Ekwe Okudiri. He is lecturer, Department of Mass Communications, ESUT, and he is senior legislative aide to Honorable Chimobi Nwatu of the National Assembly. And he's here with me this morning to make sense of this particular headline. The federal government just some hours ago released a statement affecting all Nigerians, and you will wonder what this particular headline is about. This headline says that Nigerians are to begin to pay an electronic charge of 50 naira for every 10,000 naira 10,000 naira and above transactions that one gets to do in a day. And Nigerians are full of questions as to how this particular headline is affecting us, especially at a time like this. It is all questions coming from the Nigerian people since this particular headline had dropped. This morning we're going to look at the implications, we are going to look at why it is, we are going to look at every possible way as to how this what it means to Nigerians and how we can work with it. Because looking at it from a very surface level, it seems like a really, really difficult thing for Nigerians at this moment, at this point in time. So with me to make sense of this particular headline is Dr. Ekwe Okudiri. He is lecturer, Department of Mass Communication, ESUT. He's senior legislative aide to Chimobi Nwatu of the National Assembly. And this morning he will try to explain all of this to us. Doctor, you are welcome to Volt FM.
Thank you. Good morning.
Doc, did you see the headline?
Troubling ones.
Troubling. Okay, so help me understand. Why do you think that this particular charge is necessary to the federal government at this time?
Well, good morning, good morning, Nigerians. It's good I start this conversation with a caveat.
Okay.
One, no society can develop except people pay bills.
Okay.
Tax is an essential part of the development of any country. But of course, you cannot also tax your way to development.
Okay. Okay.
I think that point was made very clear by the former British Prime Minister, who said you can't keep taxing people to progress. So the caveat is established that we have to tax, generate tax. It's part of what in Nigerian context they say IGR. But taxing people that are already down at this point,
Okay.
it's troubling. When you look at the headlines, Nigerians are battling to even understand what is going on. Because you remember that in 2021, this same APC government started nursing the idea in 2019. I think the whole implementation came to full swing in 2020-2021.
Yes.
And we moved the VAT from 5% to 7.5%. And for our listeners, we need to help them make sense of what we even mean by VAT. Is value added tax. It means that for any good and service, that at the end of the day, there is a charge of 7.5% attached to it.
Which we are already paying.
Which we're already paying.
Okay.
And let's understand the we here, we're talking about the final consumers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it means that if I buy a particular product, there is additional 7.5% tax. So it's built into that cost.
Okay.
I am the one who is paying. That essentially takes up the price of that product. Yeah. The government is not subsidizing the product in the first instance, so I'm paying 7.5% in addition to what the product should have cost originally.
Okay. Now,
this government, in the midst of electricity tariff increase, you move, this APC government met pump price at 9,800 naira thereabout. They moved it to about, officially, according to them, 8 something, and some independent marketers are 855. Independent marketers are selling at 1,200. So, and at this point, you're also bringing up the issue of raising the 7.5% to 10%. For me,
they debunked that particular one and said that wasn't what they had in mind.
Don't pay any attention to any news except it's denied officially by the government. So no news.
The central bank actually debunked.
Yeah, that's why I said no news is credible except the government officially denies it.
But you know, that particular headline about the 10%, it was just about a few days ago. And then the federal government now releases this particular direct tax. You know, it's a direct tax to the federal government. So you would wonder why does the federal government need this money so much? Because looking at the streets, the POS business happens to be the let me say the most popular employer in Nigeria presently, because it seems a lot of people have gone into it because we barely go to the banks these days. Now, if every transaction that is above 10,000 naira, there is a 50 naira charge on top of it. How do you think that people are going to deal with this? Business people who get paid via transfers, ordinary people who need to pay bills. What does this mean for Nigeria as a people?
It's just what I've just told you. Is
there any advantage to it whatsoever?
We established this point from the beginning. You cannot tax your way to development. Now, the point is, this government must sit back and think twice. Nigerians have been pushed too far. Now, every transaction you charge 50 naira. Any transaction above 10,000, you charge 50 naira.
Yes.
Now, the POS lady or guy on the street will effectively transfer that body to who? To the ordinary guy on the street who comes to withdraw money. Of course, yes. You and I know that Nigeria is about the only country in the world where you go to ATM, you can't see money to withdraw.
Yes.
You go inside the bank, there is a limit to how much you could withdraw in a day. Now, you fall back. I can give you an example. Within the past 1 week, I needed a lot of cash because of the campaign we're embarking on and all that. Now, for every 100,000 I withdrew, I paid 1,500. That was before this.
That is
before this new policy came on board. Now, it means that if I go back to the same stand this morning, I may be asked to pay 1,900 or 2,000 naira for 100,000, or even above that. Now, so effectively, you are destroying micro businesses. You're destroying small and medium businesses around. There is no point taxing your citizens the way they are taxing us now. And let me tell you something. If this government were to be sensitive to the plight of Nigerians, one could have understood. Again, you can't be telling us to tighten our belts. You can't be telling us to endure that things will get better. We need to generate more income to fix the roads. Like what the president said in China, that we need money from taxes in order to get the kind of road that Chinese government has constructed over the years. But the point is, you are spending 20-something billion to renovate the vice president's guest house. And I tell you what, inside the villa, my office is just at the back of the villa. Inside the villa, there is a vice presidential lodge inside the villa. A very big one at that. Now you're spending this another amount of money, bogus amount of money to fix what you call the vice president's guest house. Yes. You're buying presidential jets. Mm-hmm. You are buying a yacht. You're buying all manner.
Don't forget the yacht.
Now, you are telling the citizens to be patient. Yes. But you are not behaving like someone that is also patient.
Did you know that the judiciary received a 300% increase?
Of course, you need to compensate for something.
Did you know that?
No, you need to compensate for something.
My goodness.
And it's not for our consumption here. But the point is, you cannot continue to tax your way to development. And let me make this final point. Mm-hmm. Citizens, Nigerians are the most patient set of people in the world.
Is this patience?
No.
Is this what
No.
Okay, please.
To be mild, Nigerians are the most patient set of beings on earth. Mm. And Nigerians have this nature. We can actually take a lot of shocks. We can actually endure some of this rascality.
I have goosebumps
all right
now.
We have a lot of we can endure this rascality. Now, on top of that, don't forget that recently there was the cybercrime kite that they flew. They wanted to start charging people for order. Now there was that outcry. What did the government do? They went back, and now they are going through another window to ask citizens to pay for every transaction. You see, for lack of better word, somebody will say it is madness taken too far. You cannot, if you continue to tax small businesses, they will die. That is why businesses are leaving Nigeria. And the anger is that when you try to confront these guys with these statistics, how many companies that have left the country?
I can give you a number. Yeah. In the past 14 months, it's been about 1,300 small businesses shut down in this country.
We need to get it very clear. Mm-hmm. These were reported cases.
Reported?
These were reported cases. Yes. So there were other businesses. What about that small car wash on your street? What about that small business that folded on your street? Those businesses were not accounted for.
They were not.
You keep taxing these people till you run. There is an article I read recently taxing us out of business.
But let's really look at it. What do you think is the end goal? Because I have my reasons. Because presently there is a 70,000 naira minimum wage that the president obviously just endorsed, and most governors have not actually agreed to pay that particular amount of money. And presently, civil servants in Nigeria have not started receiving that amount of money as their salaries. Now, question is, a bag of rice is over the minimum wage that is set. The going price in the market is 80,000 naira, the going price in the market. Now, the petroleum, which has taken a price leaps in just a question of days, and which is currently selling at almost 1,000 plus, which is above our highest denomination in Naira. And now the president has made this particular declaration that Nigerians will begin to pay this amount of money, which is almost out of this world, considering how many we are and how many of these transactions that Nigerians get to do in a day. I might not be a politician, but I want to see if there's any mathematics behind it. What do you think is the end goal from the federal government? How is this supposed to improve us? Can you help me make sense of this?
I stay in the National Assembly every morning.
Okay.
At least from morning to 6.
Oh, that is good. That is good. You're in a good position.
We hear a lot of things. We see a lot of things. And I'll tell you, my principal recently, Honorable Chimobiatu, made a post on his Twitter handle. And of course, he got a lot of backlashes because he was just trying to speak like a labor man that he is. Okay. A lot of lies have been told. And those were the points he was trying to make. A lot of lies have been told. Don't forget, when this government came to power, we need to take these things one after the other. Okay. The argument was that an increase in pump price was not going to have any significant influence on the prices of goods.
Okay.
I remember Julie Ngelale making that statement.
Who has lost his job?
I remember Ononuga making that statement.
Mm-hmm.
They went on this crazy media campaign, and they ended up saying that the real poor people in this country were not benefiting from the subsidy. Now, subsidy was gone on May 29th. Prices of goods went up.
Mm-hmm.
So one lie told and one truth discovered.
Okay.
Who started paying for the subsidy? Who started suffering from the removal of subsidy? The ordinary man on the streets.
But the subsidy question is quite confusing because they also came back just a few weeks ago
and started paying subsidy.
that they have been paying
subsidy.
Not even that they started.
No.
They have been paying from the May 29th that they told us
I was trying to establish a lie.
Yes.
I was trying to establish a lie.
Yes.
Because one of the defenses for libel, because if the DSL listening to me now says that I have told a lie against the government, one of the defenses is truth.
Okay.
You said that it was not going to affect the ordinary man on the street because that only the rich, those who had cars, were the ones benefiting from the subsidy.
Okay.
So we needed to remove the subsidy and use it to construct roads. When you removed it, who suffered more? The poor. You went back again and denied ever paying subsidy. Reports released recently showed that you were paying subsidy, and that is why they had to adjust this price. The president is the Minister of Petroleum, but he, of course, telling you that he's not aware that NNPC, that he didn't have control over the increase of pump price.
Oh, yes.
By any, that is an independent kind of body.
Oh, yeah, they said they
but you
are
are
for the market forces.
Now, the question you asked was, what would the government make from this?
I want
now,
to know.
The issue is that in a sane society, when citizens pay taxes, these taxes are used to develop to construct roads, provide security, and other amenities. Now, the first priority of any government is to protect lives and property. In this country, we pay for our own personal security. Communities even come together to tar roads. Community put their own solar power. The individuals buy generators to power their homes. So essentially, tell me what the government is doing in this country to warrant the kind of bogus taxes that people pay. So if I am paying tax and I'm seeing what the government is doing with the taxes I'm paying, then I have no problem whatsoever. But what we have is a situation where the government is clearly insensitive. The federal government is clearly insensitive to the plight of Nigerians, and they don't give a damn about what you think, what you feel. A reasonable government wouldn't have gone ahead to raise the price of the pump price, PMS price, just few days after the protest. So what you are saying is that Nigerians can go to hell, that we can essentially do anything that we want. What is important, don't forget that this current president was presented as somebody who built Lagos, who generated a lot of taxes and built Lagos. He generated the same taxes to build Nigeria. But we have to stay alive first.
Yeah, according to the president, he did say about 2 days ago that he is ready to make hard decisions on the development of Nigeria. So I guess these are the hard decisions that he has to make. But it leaves question for the sensitivity of the Nigerian government. What do you think about this sensitivity? Because you happen to be in the helm of affairs. What do you think is the body language that the Nigerian government is telling the people?
I made this point some months ago that if Nigeria were to be a mother,
okay,
she would have been the most careless mother on earth. If Nigeria were to be a father, then he must certainly be an irresponsible father.
Oh my!
So you see, when we make analysis on that, let's bring it down.
Okay.
Assuming you are a mother and I'm the father, and we have 4 children, and we are telling our children that we need to do 0-1-1. You know what I mean by 0-1-1? We won't eat in the morning, we eat only in the afternoon and in the night. Yes. Then after a while, we moved it to 0-0-1 or maybe 1-0-0.
Okay.
But you and I, you are the mother, I'm the father. We wake up in the morning, the kids will watch us from the other room, where we are doing our one plus extra one, then one, another one in the evening. And you expect those kids not to see you as a careless mother and see me as an irresponsible father. See, we need to bring this analysis home. The federal government has not shown good faith.
All right. There's a lot to say. There's a lot to unpack. You can be a part of this conversation by calling into the studio, because we are about to open the phone lines. You can call in. You can send us text messages. You can also follow us on YouTube at High Voltage News. Subscribe, like, and share what we are doing, because we are steady updating and giving you all the breaking news and top stories to keep you updated on what's going on in our country and beyond. Also, you can follow us on Facebook at Volt 1043 FM. When we come back, we will open up the phone lines so that you can be a part of the conversation. You can contribute, share, and analyze the conversation we are having this morning with us. All right, we'll be right back. Voltage. My name is Mavis, and I have with me Dr. Ekwe Okudiri. He is lecturer, Department of Mass Communications, ASUT, and he's here this morning to help us analyze the topic that we are dealing with this morning, which is the very headline that the federal government just declared a few hours ago. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome, sir. Your name and location, please.
I come from Enugu.
Chigozie, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to the guests in the house.
Good morning.
Yeah, I particularly want to buttress on one of his analysis.
We are with you. Go ahead. Hello, Chigozie. All right, I think something happened with that particular phone call. I will encourage that you do call us back, Chigozie. All right, the numbers to call are 0706 048 5853. You can also call 0915 570 8347. Okay, 0706 048 5853. Good morning to you. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Chigozie, I call back.
Okay, you're welcome. Where are you calling from, Chigozie?
Yeah, from Enugu here.
From Enugu. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. Okay, so I was saying that I wanted to comment on his one of his submissions that Nigeria is a careless mom and an irresponsible father.
Mm-hmm.
From his analysis, you can see it's nothing far from the truth, and there was some other thing he said about we the citizens providing for ourselves for virtual, and this is one particular reason why I feel that subsidy shouldn't be removed, because it seems as if that's the only thing we enjoy from the government. And if they feel in their responsibility to have our refineries working and even having more refineries, it's not our fault. Right? And then if there are corruption in the subsidy, whatever, it's not also our fault. Let them clean it up. I still believe that as Nigerians, we don't have any reason to buy fuel above 100 naira. As Nigeria, people among the most 50 producing oil in the world, we shouldn't be buying fuel 1,000 to 1,150 and thereabout. It's heartbreaking. They shouldn't, if subsidy is the only thing they do for us, it's fair enough. Let them sanitize whoever takes the subsidy and continue to provide us with the subsidy and affordable fuel, because you can see that our economy revolves around fuel. Once there's change in fuel, everything triggers. The other day, I decided to park my car and use public transport, and I found out that public transport is not even it's even harder than you driving your own car. It's even more expensive. So it's disheartening, sincerely speaking. And if they are listening to us, subsidy should come back and let them find the way to sanitize the corruption there. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Chigozie, for calling into the program and for such a elaborate submission. Doc, do you have anything to say about what Chigozie has said?
Well, Chigozie actually buttressed what I said earlier. There is something that the governors have to do very quickly.
Okay, Doc, before you go ahead, please, let's take this call. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning, sir. Your name and location, please.
Yeah, my name is Victor. I'm calling from Transfer Levy.
Welcome, Victor.
My own is that I want to start by asking a question.
Okay.
How does Nigeria, and how do we fight, how did this government, how would they fight insecurity where there's no food? How would they fight insecurity where there's no fuel? How would they fight insecurity where there is high in the electricity? Because I don't really understand this whole thing. Because Nigerians, we are just keeping calm. Hence, that there are so many people who can just live for hand to mouth. We are all just good to go. We are all sitting and watching all this happening. But the question I want to ask, lastly, what about those people who depend on those people who are working and they are no longer working? How will the resumption of school, like for instance, someone who have a children schooling at Otigba, for example, they are living in Abaka. How do they survive this situation? How would the most important thing, how do we fight the insecurity with all these things that is going on? Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, thank you so much, Victor. Priorities, it
Yeah.
seems.
Before I was going to issue of the governors,
Yes.
but let me add to what Victor just said.
Okay.
Now, I need to reference.
Doc, you're getting a lot of calls, so let's take all your questions and then you can begin to answer them. Good morning to you. Okay, good morning to you, sir. Your name and location, please.
Justice, good morning.
You're welcome, Justice.
Yeah, see, Levy, do you know why most of us leave the normal banking system in Nigeria and switch over to this fintech?
To what? To what? What did you call it?
So this fintech banking system.
Okay.
Because of the sovereign charges banks we are charging the customers. Could you believe that in a day I charge my wife's account up to 400 something naira big? The reason why we switch to banks, and now federal governments have gone up to that place now. Yes, there is a memo to send that each transfer above 10,000 to be charged 59. They now introduce this thing again. Why are our leaders so hapless? There is no escape route for the common man.
But Justice, you're someone who actually considers things. Do you see any advantage to what the government has done presently? What do you think might be the advantage they hoped in mind, especially for the people? You know, because there must be, they must have seen a certain advantage, how this will affect the people positively. What do you think that is?
Whatever policy that is being introduced in Nigeria, it is to advantage the common man.
Gosh.
Advantage of the common man. I beg to disagree with every comment that someone will say that this anything brings advantage for us. What advantage that you should be collecting 50 naira from me? You need to, after the normal banking transaction rate, now you introduce another 50 naira for 10,000 naira. What advantage are you giving me that I have to even go shortchanged by the petrol dealers and be shortchanged by the government? What will the common man do? What will the common man do? I made a case last week. This issue of the state government shifting the blame to the federal. See, there are a lot of things the state government should do for the common man now. For these citizens, there are a lot of things they can do. There are many lot of government should come into now to survey this situation. They should not leave the federal government. This is how I don't know how we bring this government. See, this issue of tax, I think it should be waved aside for now. That issue of tax should be waved aside for now. They have collected the one they are collecting. People are suffering. See, we get to a point that you start seeing debt costs on the road. If you are going by this way, The state government is not helping you. The local government is not helping you. Who will you run to? Will everyone be running to God? God has many things on his hands. The little one that he leaves for us, we have to do our duty. We have to do our duty. These people are not helping matter. Why can't a government, if the federal government brought, they said they brought something to us, and the state government are denying it, the president said that
but the governor, some of them made public statements that they never received those trucks of rice.
many lies come from the state.
Okay, but the government has not reassured or reiterated if they really sent those trucks of rice to the states. I remember Enugu State Governor Peter Mba said he didn't receive them. Alex Oti of Abia State made a public statement that he didn't receive those trucks of rice. So did so many other governors, especially in the north, who said they didn't receive these trucks of rice. Good morning. Do calm yourselves down. We do understand that the morale is quite low in the public. So everybody should try to calm down. That is why we are trying to have this conversation, so that we can find a way to manage ourselves at this time. Good morning. You're welcome, sir. Okay. Thank you so much, my good man, for calling into the show. Doc, over to you. I'm sure you have your questions.
We have a lot to unpack.
Okay,
but
go on.
let me start from the second caller who was trying to establish a relationship between insecurity and poverty. Now, so many studies, and I'm going to link that with the last person about the role of opposition. Now, I work at the National Assembly for Ebuchimo Biatu. And one of the issues that he raised on the floor of the House recently was that there is this strong correlation between unemployment and insecurity. And he was merely re-emphasizing what P2B has always said. You cannot, I keep saying this thing, you cannot have, Nigeria has the youngest youth population in Africa.
That is true.
And almost about the 9th in the world.
That is true.
You cannot continue to graduate people from the universities and polytechnics and colleges of education, and they have no jobs
every year.
And to make the case worse, when these graduates decide to go into bike business, get business, POS business, you bring policies that are reasonable, policies that look as if they are coming from the house of rascals. Then you tax these businesses out of, you tax them out of business. Yes. And then you expect that society not to have serious case of insecurity. You must be a joke, because where there is, in fact, so many studies, even U.S. Department of Justice have shown that, their studies have shown that whenever there is serious youth unemployment, they look the other window, you are going to see serious insecurity. So until we move from what the Labour Party will tell you, from consumption to production, because when you produce more, the prices will go down. And now let's go to the issue of opposition. There are barely 30-something, about 36. One lost, that is one died. Okay. We have 35 Labour Party members on the floor of the House in National Assembly, the Green Chambers, and about 6 senators. Now, a lot of time, people don't actually understand how these things work. Until you are asked to speak, you cannot actually stand up to speak. Really. And you know what? The yacht thing, that the money was diverted from buying the yacht to the student loan, and later the president went ahead to buy it without appropriating for it. Yes. The Labour members on the floor, especially those from Enugu and Abia, were those who stood and said, like Chimobi is a member of appropriation, and the Wagocha, the one from Abia. These were people who stood their ground that day. I was in the meeting and said, we cannot.
But are they not just a few?
That's the point we're trying to make. But Nigerians should understand something, that it's a game of number. What is 35 to 360? And you must be allowed to speak, because your mic has to come on before you speak. Even the Professor Obi, the Labour Party woman from Anambra, you saw what she said about the independence celebration, that there was the May 29th celebration, that there was nothing to celebrate. Labour Party members have been speaking up, but just that they are very few in number. And now let us go to the issue of unbanked individuals. we have said that very few persons in Nigeria are banked. Very few.
Just few.
Just few.
Really?
I'm trying to remember the percent. I think it's about 10 or 9%
Wait.
of Nigerians that are banked.
Are you serious?
Yes, you can check it online. Now, we have very large population of Nigerians that are not banked. That is why the insurance thing is not working in Nigeria.
Oh.
Now, they are unbanked. And you're not bringing policies that will make people to move their money out of the banks.
Oh, yeah, that's
that was what Akola said.
That's right.
So when people start moving their money out of banks, that means they are piling cash at home, because that is the only way. Because even the so-called OPay, Money Point, and all those fintech companies that he mentioned, they are beginning to force them to accept this crazy policy.
Yeah,
so
most
people,
of them have put out declarations. It's a thing.
my master thesis was on nomadic education.
Okay.
And I can tell you, as somebody who lived and was born in the north, that more than 96% of northerners are unbanked. And more than 98% of the Fulani population are unbanked.
Wow.
Now, these people sell cows and all that. They keep their money at home because you are not making the policies favorable for them to even go to the bank. So, do you know the ripple effect it has on our economy? When people don't put their money in the bank so that there will be money flow in the country, it affects the economy. And then somebody else was talking about the issue of Dangote refinery. My sister, it's a cartel. We all know what the landing cost of PMS is. We know why there is a Wando Ajib trade, and we know who is buying what, and we know why they don't want Dangote to sell to independent marketer directly. They are not, because somebody told me that the issue of tax farms were gone, and I told him the policy has not been implemented. You know why?
It hasn't.
Who are the owners of the tax farms in Nigeria?
Oh, okay.
So this is a cartel thing, and it's not for our discussion on air today. Because these people know that if Dangote should sell his product directly, that was why Ajuli Ngelale was saying on TVC some months ago that, oh, there won't be any significant difference even if we produce locally. But you and I know that he was telling a fat lie. And I think he got tired of telling the lies. All right? Now, the point remains that Dangote knows that if he sells to us directly, that the price may come down to around 600 or 500 naira. But the cartel will not want that to happen. And then finally, on the issue of governors sharing rice.
Yes.
I don't know whether governors got rice, but I know that all National Assembly members got rice. My own principal, Timo Beato, got rice. Yes, got rice, and it was shared. Even currently, all the National Assembly members got fertilizer. House of Rep members got 600.
Oh, I saw the fertilizer experience. I saw somebody in
this morning
loading fertilizers in the trucks of their car. And
I can confirm to you that
fertilizers belong to the people.
Yeah, I can confirm to you that this morning, after this program, Chimaobi will be sharing his own 600 bags. About the issue of governors, I wouldn't know at what point whether there was selective. Let me clear this, because I think there was the issue of selective delivery.
Really?
Yes, whether it's possible that some governors didn't get, because if fertilizer, he took the DSS to start calling before our own was delivered. Oh, so it's possible that some governors didn't get. And let me shock you, when they say that governors are giving more money by the federal government these days, do you know what you're going to do? Check how much was the allocation before this government, before May 29th, and convert it to naira, convert it to dollar. You find out that the governors are not receiving more.
They are not.
It's because the naira was devalued. They floated the naira. And then you now come back and say 70 naira minimum wage. Convert 70 naira to the current rate in dollar. And know that 10 naira 4 years ago has more value than the 70 naira. So it's all, when you float your currency, you are deceiving. My sister, we need to let the audience understand these things. Their 10 naira 3 years ago is worth more than 100,000 naira today. So nobody should be deceived. So the governors are not receiving more money.
Really?
What they are doing is that they are receiving a money that has been devalued. Cardoso, who claimed to be an expert, I can tell you doesn't know a thing about banking. And that is why he floated the naira. This minute, you know what they are doing? Is what my boss calls trial and error.
Trial and error.
You float the naira. When you saw that the naira was losing value, you ran to start gagging all the bureau de change. Then you went back, bought a lot of dollar, pushed it back to the market, to force the bureau de change to bring down the price. But you and I know that this thing was not sustainable. Dollar will hit 2,000.
We all have seen that. Dr. Okudiri Ekwe is lecturer, Department of Mass Communications, ASUT. He is senior legislative aide to Honorable Chimobi Sam Ato of the National Assembly, and he has been here this morning. And he has shared so much with us. I hope and I pray that he will come back next time he's in town to come and have this very enlightening conversation with us. Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you for having me
this morning. You are so enlightening. Thank you so much for joining us. High Voltage comes to you every weekday, Mondays through Fridays, 9 a.m. till 10. And I'm your humble host, Mavis. I'll see you again tomorrow morning. Try to be good to yourself and to everyone else around you. Have a good day. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis on current events and their impact. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.